Hi guys, today I will discuss about cardiac cycle. It has got four phases. Phase 4 is resting phase, then there is rapid depolarization phase called zero phase. It is because of sodium influx. Then after that early repolarization phase, which is phase 1, and it's because of potassium efflux. Then this phase 1 is prolonged and it is changed into a plateau form, which is called phase 2, and this is because of calcium influx. Then phase 3 is again because of potassium efflux, and 4 is the restoration of the electrolytes because of sodium potassium ATPase. So, few important definitions here. Cardiac output is equal to stroke volume into heart rate, while stroke volume is equal to end diastolic volume minus end systolic volume, and ejection fraction is stroke volume divided by end diastolic volume. So these are the phases of the cardiac cycle. Now let's come to the circulation of glomeruli, and this is the one basic unit of Bowman capsule and glomeruli. Bowman capsule is part of nephron, yellow in color, and there are afferent arterioles which break up into a network of vessels which is called glomerulus. Then this glomerulus is drained via efferent vessels. So basically, three processes they are taking place in this Bowman capsule. This is filtration, reabsorption, and secretion. Now, what happens in proximal convoluted tubule? Now, what happens in proximal convoluted tubule, that phosphate, bicarb, glucose, sodium, potassium, chloride, all the electrolytes, including water, they are reabsorbed. And as the filtrate, it goes down from proximal convoluted tubule to thick descending limb of loop of Henle. Further reabsorption of these ions take place along with the water. Since water is also being reabsorbed, and in the thin limb of loop of Henle, descending thin limb of loop of Henle, magnesium and calcium is also reabsorbed. So here the filtrate is maximally hyperosmotic. Then after that, when the filtrate, it goes into thin ascending limb of loop of Henle, and from here it enters into thick ascending limb. The tubules, they get impermeable to water. However, electrolytes, they continue to be reabsorbed. Water remains inside the tube. Magnesium, calcium, sodium, chloride, all they are reabsorbed from thick ascending limb except water. So here the fluid is hypotonic, while at the tip of the loop of the Henle, where water was also reabsorbed, it was hypertonic. So this hypotonic fluid, it goes into the distal convoluted tubule, and here in the proximal part of the distal convoluted tubule, sodium chloride is again reabsorbed, calcium is also reabsorbed under the effect of parathyroid hormone. Then distal part of distal convoluted tubule, aldosterone acts, and it finally draws water out along with sodium and chloride. So this is under the effect of aldosterone. Then after that, some solutes, they enter inside the distal convoluted tubule. They include hydrogen ions, potassium. So after that, once they have entered, now the filtrate, it enter into the collecting duct and tubules. Now here, under the effect of ADH, water is reabsorbed. Now the question that comes commonly in the exam is that where do the loop diuretics act? So as the name is indicating, loop diuretic, they act on loop of Henle. Then after that comes thiazide diuretic, they act on the proximal part of the distal convoluted tubule, while potassium sparing diuretics, they act on distal part of distal convoluted tubule. They partly act on collecting ducts as well, aldosterone antagonist. Carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, they actually act on the proximal convoluted tubule. So this was all about renal physiology.